what we learn about God. Well, first, we learn that we should return to the people of God when it comes time to select a spouse. Enough said. Next, we see the wrong of polygamy here and throughout Genesis. Now, later, this will become encapsulated in law. Leviticus 18:18, do not take your wife's sister as a rival wife and have sexual relations with her while your wife is living. In other words, if your wife died, you could marry her sister, but not while they're both alive. Well, Leviticus, that's after the time of Rachel and Leah. So Jacob didn't technically violate a law because the law hadn't been given yet. The Bible never justifies polygamy. It's tolerated in parts. But here we see what happens when someone takes more than one wife, and it's not a happy picture. The rivalry, the tension, the deception, the constant jockeying for position. Next, we see that resorting to superstition does not work, the mandrakes. God is in control. He cannot be controlled by magic. Those God has chosen to bless do not always have the smoothest relationships with others, even and especially within their own families. A very important lesson we see is that if we pray for something and God doesn't answer it, there may be a very good reason. Rachel was desperate to have that second son, and with that second son came her death. I think sometimes we feel very strong. We compare ourselves to others. We think, oh, I wish I had what he has. I wish I had what she has. But we just don't know what God knows, that what may actually be involved with God granting our wish. Next, with God, it isn't just about quantity but quality. Rachel had only 2 children. The quantity wasn't very great. Leah, of course, had 7 and gave rise to really half the tribes of Israel. Rachel had only 2 children, but one of them, Benjamin, would give rise to the first king of Israel, Saul, or Shaul, and also to his namesake. His namesake, of course, Saul of Tarsus, the Apostle Paul, also of the tribe of Benjamin. We're indebted to Rachel in this way. Her other son would not only give rise to 2 of the larger tribes in Israel, Ephraim and Manasseh, but he would also save his people. Her son Joseph would save the life of her husband Jacob and of all of her other sons, and in fact millions of people, as we see at the end of Genesis. Not only this, but there are multiple parallels between that son, Joseph, and Jesus Christ. Again, what do we learn about God? We must return to the people of God when it's time to select a spouse. Polygamy works poorly. It's not God. It doesn't represent God's will. It's also a violation of Genesis 2:24. Superstition doesn't work because true religion is not about control, mechanics, or magic. God is the one in control. Those God has chosen to bless don't always have the smoothest relationship, so we can't get smug and say, well, it's because I'm so smooth with people. I'm so good at relationships. That's just not true. It's grace. Prayer sometimes has a very high price tag. Be careful what you pray for. And last, with God, it's not just quantity, but quality. And sometimes we don't know the impact of life until it's over.